Are you actually live now?
Yeah, we're actually live. Can you do me a favor?
Me?
No.
Oh.
Actually, hang on 1 second. Live streaming. Where is it?
Logged in.
People are jumping in and staring at you, John. Maybe here. There it is.
You need to clean your screen.
Nothing gets me going in the morning more than my Exotics brand coffee.
Okay. Do me a favor, talk.
Absolutely. The Exotics brand coffee was born out of an idea that the best coffee nuts in Brazil were just going to waste. So we
Okay.
found the most exotic coffee beans that we could possibly find in the rainforest of Brazil. And we now fly them up daily to the Tour Edge facility where we
Roast them on site,
we
right?
roast them on site, as we do everything else. We build clubs here on site, roast our own coffee beans on site, and every morning I start the day off with a nice cup of Exotics brand coffee.
In my head, I'm singing the best part of waking up is exotics in your cup.
The best part of working at Tour Edge is my Exotics brand coffee.
Exactly.
Okay, let's make sure it's in the first post. It is. Okay, we got a couple people on. We still got 5 minutes or so before we start this thing.
Absolutely.
Say hi, everybody. This is John Claffey.
What's up, guys?
He runs Tour Edge
And
Exotics.
gals?
Just ask him. Is he going to sing more? He just gave us a wonderful story on the Exotics brand coffee.
We are live.
We are live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is Bob. You
Which
can't
is
see him,
Bob.
but you can hear him.
Hello,
Bob,
everyone.
yeah. Bob's like he's perfect for radio. Let's just put it
That's
that way.
There's any K-cups or should get a cup of coffee. How's it going, everybody?
Oh.
And in case you didn't pick up on that, that was Bob sitting down and then being told, "Get up and get out some more coffee."
We're gonna need some coffee.
Quite a few people on. Hi, everybody. Formula 8. Is it Formulate or is it Formula 8? It's the word formula and then the number 8. How would you pronounce that?
Formula 8.
Not formulate?
No, no, I guess Formula 8. No, because there's that extra A.
Yeah.
I know we've asked him this before too. I thought it wasn't a race car or something. You don't remember?
You're putting me on the spot here.
I have a terrible memory.
We decided it's Formulate.
Okay.
I think we decided means we all decided
Right.
together. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's better that way.
So for those who haven't seen Tour Edge or behind the scenes or anything we've done before, we were in their large conference room. When you walk in the main office, you make a right, you go down this hallway, you pass John's office, you pass Bob's office, and you pass John Craig's office.
That's right.
And then we're in this conference room. It's got a lot of golf clubs in here.
You know, the funny thing about that statement is that everything in this room is in line.
Yes.
So once something is gone, it goes out of this room. So when we sit somebody down in this conference room, we basically have to say, you know, you may not understand the depth of everything that we sell here, but everything that we sell is in this room.
So we have EXS. Can they see me here?
No. Yes, now we can see you.
CBX, Ironwoods, HL3, HL3, CBX,
You are now leaving the
Bazooka.
and
I'm
dropping things.
No 119 here, huh?
It should be taken over that spot there.
Yeah.
That's our tour locker, as we like to call it.
119 is coming out now for the most part, right?
And that's how new it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually been every club that we get in has had to go out because the demand has been a little stronger than we thought.
So
Do you need light or no?
I think maybe we don't.
I don't think so either. I think it's fine.
I overthought the name 119.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was something to do with CG placement, knowing David and everything.
Right.
Turns out it's just the date.
That's right, January of 19.
Yeah, so for those wondering, what CBX 119, which I can tell everybody, and I'm going to get some pictures and post it up later today, it looks awesome in hand. I'm not just saying that because John's here. I would tell him if I didn't like the looks of it.
Yeah, no, he's done that before.
You guys are really going to like this one. If you liked the CBX previously, it's pretty darn good. Good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Dustin. Lighting is good, thank you. How is sound from John?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Can't hear John too well.
Can't hear me. Okay.
No, I don't know why that is. We're going to ask John to speak loud. How about that?
And I can do that. I've got a bellow in me.
Do you want to tell everybody, like, kind of who you are, where you came from, and things like that?
Sure, yeah. My name's John Claffey. I think I'm in my 17th year in the golf industry. A little bit over a year now with Tour Edge, about almost a year and a half. And before that, I came from Volvic Golf Balls. I started Volvic USA with, I was the first employee hired by their president, Don Shin. And just kind of started it from scratch. So that was quite the experience. I ended up, doing all the sales. I was director of sales and marketing for them for 5 years. But that was a little different twist for me. Usually I'm 100% marketing. And I was pretty much 70% sales and 30% marketing there. But, ran all the tour departments. That's kind of been my formula over the years is to, any company I go work for, I make sure that they have a wonderful product. And I really like to have it be attached to the professional tours in some way. And Volvic had that with the LPGA, and then we ended up signing Bubba. And I was totally in charge of, getting guys to come in like Craig Stadler and Larry Nelson and Tim Petrovic and some of the Web.com guys we had. So tour is very important to me. That's kind of what I've done here with what you're seeing us do on the Champions Tour. And, all the guys that we've signed, Scott McCarron, Tom Lehman. Tim Petrovic, again, the third time I've signed Tim, who's a good friend of mine, and Duffy Waldorf, who are our staff players. Bart Bryant is also a staff player. Scott Dunlap's also a staff player for us. They're just doing club deals. They don't have any logos on them, but now we have a logo on Tom Lehman's chest and his bag this season. Scott McCarron, we're on his left sleeve, big Tour Edge Exotics logo on his sleeve, which has been showing up on TV. And we got Duffy and Tim wearing the hat, carrying the bag. So that's kind of been like the tour stuff that I get involved in and like to have happen because it gives me, my number one thing is in golf is trying to create a buzz for the companies I work for. And I do that through press releases. I was a advertising major and public relations minor in college, so that's kind of my forte is public relations, and I write all the press releases and all that stuff that goes out. So before Volvic, I was with Superstroke Grips, which was an arm of Tiger Shark Golf. I was with them for 2.5 years as their director of marketing, and basically started their tour program as well. So that was quite the deal. They purchased Superstroke they got a great deal on buying all their old grips that they used to screw on, the big heavy one that you guys remember KJ Choi played. And the task was taking that out the tour and trying to get it into play. And we eventually did get guys put it into play. We got about 20 guys. And now it's easier to name somebody who's not playing a Superstroke grip than somebody who is. Before that was 5 years at Nick Kent Golf. I was their director of marketing for 5.5 years. And saw some great growth there. And before that, my start was at Sonartech Golf.
If you guys lose John for a second sound-wise, do not kill me or the camera.
Yeah, Sonartech was my first foray into the business. I was their marketing coordinator and pretty much ran all the marketing there. And they had when I started, they had about 20 guys on the PGA Tour using their clubs, but nobody had ever heard of it. And we changed that. In my 2.5 years there, we went from, I think, 500,000 to 9 million. And then Todd Hamilton won the British Open with the with the MD hybrid, and it was a huge deal because he used it off the tee and on every hole. Pretty much never used a driver that entire event, and then he won the event with a bump and run with the hybrid. So it made the front page of USA Today and shut down our phone lines and everything else. So that was that got me a lot of attention. That got me recruited away eventually to Nick Kent. So that's my golf history, 17 years.
So we're going to ask the guys now. Throw some questions out here before we jump to the forum questions. And we have one that I wanted to ask you immediately because I've received it from about 25 different people.
Okay.
Will we see an update from Tour Edge or Exotics in putters?
Yes, you will eventually.
Eventually.
Eventually, yeah. There'll be a new DG series. I don't know if that'll be what it's called, but yeah, it's something that's kind of top of mind with David Glott, our founder, our president, our master club designer. I would say 2020 would be probably a year to look out for that.
2020?
Yeah.
I'm going through. So if there's a break in the action, it's because I'm reading these questions along with you guys.
No problem.
Been looking at CBX forged irons. Can you explain how the dual level flange design is an advantage? The more details, the better. That's probably a David question.
Definitely a David Glott question. And especially since, yeah, the club was before my time. Bob may be able to expand a little bit more on CBX forged irons, but it's my favorite iron we have right now.
It's really, really good.
I can tell you that. But the dual flange, what do you know about it?
Yeah, I to the best of my knowledge, I believe it's about the weighting, but
We'll let David answer that, and I can get that answered for you.
Am I good at that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Does Tour Edge have a theory on why their clubs seem to be more popular on the Champions Tour? Are older guys smarter than everybody else?
I think so. No, it was yeah, literally it was you know, to get kind of intimate about it. John Craig and I go back many years, and he called me a couple years ago and just started asking, where does Tour Edge fit on tour? You know, as from my point of view, and I said, you know, there's a big gap that exists when Adams left, and nobody's filled it. And I kind of feel like Tour Edge was born to fill that gap. And really, it's not because the clubs fit an older sect more than the younger sect. We could have, if we had a lot more money and a lot, you know, and went out on the PGA Tour every week, we could have just as many clubs and play on the PGA Tour as we'd have on Champions Tour. It's just the fact that it's more wide open out there. I mean, when we set up every week on the range, it's us and Callaway, and that's about it. On the day that I started, I spent my first 3 weeks on Champions Tour with the company. The day that I started, TaylorMade announced that they were pulling their Champions Tour rep. It was just kind of serendipity. But the guys are much more approachable. They've seen it all. They're names that everybody knows. So it's, you know, for us, it's just a very cost-efficient way of going out and doing as well as we're doing. I mean, the amazing stat, I hope you guys saw this from the last press release, we have finished first or second in 18 of the last 29 Champions Tour events. It's nuts.
That's pretty crazy.
That's 62%. We've either been first or second. So we got into the right bags. For us to go out and get into the PGA Tour bags like that, it's not possible. All those guys are tied up on, you know, 10 club deals, 14 club deals. So we're going to be kind of getting the mid-tier guy, lower-tier guy on the PGA Tour. And I just think it pretty much has given us the same effect that I'm able to, you know, to work with on the Champions Tour. So there you go. It's less expensive. The names are bigger, you know, and somebody may say, well, why not go to the web.com tour and get the future PGA Tour players before they get up there? Well, the answer would be, I'll give you $100 right now if you can name 6 web.com tour players without going to the website.
Oh, I'm not allowed to go to the website? And
You know
I
what
work
mean?
in
So,
golf.
right.
You go out to a PGA Tour Champions event, and you go, oh my gosh, I know him, I know him, I know him. I know everybody on the range. These are guys that have been doing it for years. They're the legends of the game, and it's just been a perfect fit for us.
Okay, questions from the website. The Tour Edge staff players primarily use hybrids in their lineup. With the release of the EXS driver becoming more of a presence on tour from these players. Oh, will there be? Sorry.
EXS on tour?
Yeah.
Already is in play on tour. So it started last year. Calcavecchia, we had a missing driver out on the range, which was a funny story. We started asking around. We said, hey, I'm missing a driver here. I had 6 drivers, now I have 5. and nobody could tell me. I knew a player took it, but nobody could figure out who it was. And the next week, Mark Kalkovicki shows up and says, "Hey, I stole one of your drivers. I absolutely loved it. I put it in play the last 2 weeks on tour." That was the start of EXS being put in play on tours almost by accident. So we've got in a few more bags already. Ian Woosman put us into play, and a couple other guys. But it is a tour driver, even though it's $299. It is tour quality. Right now, all the tour guys that we have on staff are testing it, and they're getting close to putting it in place. So we hope to see the likes of Tom Lehman, Duffy, Tim Petrovic playing the driver on PGA Tour Champions. It hasn't happened yet, but it's in the works.
For those wondering, both John and Bob play the driver.
Yeah, Bob Ochoa plays the driver, John Claffey plays the driver, so that's kind of...
Andy goes third
I
person.
know.
Question for you is, where do you see Tour Edge's tour presence 5 years from now?
It's a great question. I would say that in 5 years, we will have taken that next step into PGA Tour and Web.com and even LPGA by that point. And I think that's the goal. When we started this thing with Champions Tour, it was a long-term commitment to make PGA Tour Champions our home. It will be our home for the foreseeable future. We kind of see that fit being that good. But if we're growing at the clip that we've been growing the last couple of years, which is as close to kind of exponential growth that you can get in the golf business, then we will take that money and invest it in the tour. Possibly have our own tour van. That's my personal goal, and I know that David Glod and John Craig, the guys that run this place, agree with me that would be the direction. So when we started this thing, we kind of joked we're putting the tour back in Tour Edge, but we really mean it. We really aren't going to have exotics be a force out on tour, and right now we've got the stats on the Champions Tour, and it's helping us get that validation that we're seeking. And we're gonna steer that towards the other tours when it's time.
Next question. Your brand model is intriguing with materials over marketing. The question: year over year, Tour Edge has been growing. While the market for golf isn't expanding at any significant rate, how has Tour Edge positioned itself to grow its market share versus your competitors? I really need to finish this coffee so I can learn to read. The end.
It's that exotics brand coffee, so you're gonna be great.
Exactly.
It's a great question as well. You probably noticed there's been a huge shift in the marketplace over the last 3 years, where, I think, it's kind of that PXG started it, but then Chip Brewer and Callaway quickly moved that way as well to help out pad their books, with just more profit coming in, more margin, and. We have not followed suit. We have not. Everybody else is chasing up this price ladder, and they realized, okay, well, if they can do it, we can do it. Well, now it's crowded at the top, and it's crowded at the top where there's expensive clubs. Tour Edge, we're staying where we're at. That's why EXS is $300 as a driver, which is loaded with all the tech you can ever imagine. We basically are selling a $500 driver for $300, and we're doing that for a reason. We did a year's worth of research. We found that there's 24 million golfers in the United States market. There's 8 million core golfers. That means you play more than a dozen times a year. About half of those 8 million golfers are what we call a discerning golfer on a budget. So they're just not able to go out every year and spend $600 on a driver. And so we wanted to offer those guys a choice to go out there and have a great line of clubs that they can be proud of playing. That's got all the innovation they're seeking. It's got all the right shapes. It's a tour quality club, but they're getting it at the right price. And that's what Tour Edge has been great at for the last 33 years. David Glod is a genius at looking at the market and finding these gaps that exist. These, these niches that exist that we can take advantage of, where somebody's either falling asleep at the wheel or they're just not doing it right. And so, if you look at our bag market, we do quite a bit of just golf bag business. We're selling, a top quality bag that, can rank up there with anybody else, but we're selling it at a price nobody can beat. And the last time I checked, the number one thing people look at when you're buying a bag is price. So you can go out and spend, $140 and get awesome cart bag from us, or you can go spend twice as much and pretty much get the same bag from somebody else. So that's just one example of where, we survey the market, we find that niche that exists, and we go and we make just as good or better product, and we price it less, and that's how we're going to survive. That's how we're going to thrive in the business. So we did the same thing with junior sets. We're doing the same thing now with HL3. That's been a huge learning curve for us, was Hot Launch 3, and how that product can, what you can do with a $189 driver that really performs well. And then now we're applying that same exact thing to EXS in the exotics line, and again, we're showing numbers that we would never have thought were possible.
One of the questions that's come up from a number of people is about retail presence and how you've expanded a little bit. Can you kind of walk people through what it takes to expand, and how you guys are working through that from your mom and pop golf stores through Edwin Watts, through PGA Superstore, which are all big supporters of you guys?
Sure. Yeah, most of our growth is coming from our top partners that have been with us for years and years. We're not in Dick's and Golf Galaxy, and we should be. I mean, there's no reason why we have plenty of product that should be in those stores. But we've had to learn how to grow without, relying on a behemoth like that. And so we really, all of our growth is coming from our long-standing partners. We're adding a lot of custom fitting with our Hot Launch 3 product, where we have the 48-hour custom fitting program was one of the most successful programs we've ever implemented, and it really kind of changed the face of custom fitting. Before that, nobody was saying there's a value market in custom fitting, and nobody's ever dared to try to deliver it to you in 48-hour time guaranteed. So when we pulled that off, it really, I think our custom fitting was up 250% last year, and that's 250% the year before. So that's really changed the dynamic of who we are. That's opened up the doors for us to go and open up more green grass shops, and just basically show up to a pro and say, hey pro, we've got a fitting bag for you. There's no risk. Bring this bag in. You can start doing fittings off the bag. We will ship whatever. If it's just one club, you can fit a guy for a driver. That driver will be there in 48 hours to their front door. We'll drop ship it to their door, and that's changed the game for us. So now we've got hundreds and hundreds of new green grass accounts that are fitting for us on a daily basis, and it's low risk and it's big reward.
This person would like to know what you think about the trend of more speed and faster in relation to drivers and your brand, and what you plan on doing, if anything at all, to compete in the market.
I can actually expand on that. So right now, every company is just talking about speed and faster.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
And you guys are talking a lot about materials and material difference. Can you explain why you're different?
Well, we were on the front end of that. We concentrated on speed with XJ1, and truly XJ1 was the lightest clubhead still that's ever existed, and that's pretty much, to me, that's where speed comes from, is weight. So I gain, when I swing XJ1, I gain about 5 mile per hour swing speed when I swing that driver compared to any other driver. So we've done that. We've been down that road, and to see everybody concentrating on speed now is just funny. It's like, have we run out of things to talk about, really, already? When it comes to technology. So I'm kind of waiting for that fad to be over, because I don't think it really resonates with the consumer. Everybody wants a little bit more speed, but really, is 5 miles per hour more speed really gonna change everything for your game? I don't think so. I think it's just a fad, a marketing fad, and obviously there's something to it when the clubhead speed and ball speed, but everybody's all within the same window that it's a minute difference. You can look at the data from a robot or a human, and you're going to see a 1 or 2 yard difference. So this is what we're spending millions of dollars to tell people about. To me, it's a little much, but yeah, if we were the only one talking about speed, I get it. But now the fact that everybody's just saying speed, it's a little much.
So this question is interesting because we were just talking about this. One of our viewers would like to know, are there any chances you guys go in the golf ball market?
I wouldn't say in a major way. If we do, it would just be, kind of giving us something to go out and hit during demo days, kind of a thing. But, no. The answer is in you know, putting marketing behind it and trying to go up in that market. It's very, very tough. I've been down that road before, but
Okay. Blue premium shaft. Are there any plans to have more colors available or maybe custom designed?
as far as EXS,
Yes.
no, no.
They didn't specify otherwise, so I'm going to
So
assume they
you
really
mean on the
exist.
club heads or on the shaft?
I'm going to assume on the club heads.
Yeah, no.
I don't know
on
why
the
they
club
would
heads,
ask
yeah.
you about the shafts.
No, I've seen that kind of in the industry where you're able to mix and match colors, and we're just not doing that yet. The blue was a big transition away from our normal black and red,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a welcome change by most everybody, and I believe, you know, in future iterations of EXS, if they were to come out, that we'd probably keep going with that blue because it's kind of tied into that club now. So it's really become part of the branding of that particular line.
Okay.
Can you talk about the consumer response to HL3 in general? I know we've talked about it earlier on this episode, but the consumer response in general to HL3, what it's been like?
Yeah.
Insane.
Hot Launch 3 is just, it's what literally has buttered our bread for the last, 2 years, year and a half. So basically, we came out with a line, in case you aren't familiar with the HL3 line, it's what we call our mid-tier price point. You can get into an HL3 driver for $189. You can get into, all the way down the line to where it's kind of silly, the performance that you're getting for, the money that you're spending. But again, nobody else was doing this anymore. It used to be something where there would be at least 3 or 4 manufacturers that were trying to own this segment, and it's just us. We're on an island on our by ourselves with HL3, and it's been a godsend. It's really just driving sales. You would be, I guess, people don't realize how many budget golfers there are out there that aren't going to go spend $600. They want to go spend $200 and have basically the same performance. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of learn about the golf industry. We kind of have been taking the HL3 model and applying it everywhere else because it just worked that well. Crazy numbers like 250%, 300% up, and it just, like I said, we're the only ones doing what we're doing when it comes to that price point and that kind of performance and technology that you get. So not to take anything away from HL3, but it's been so good that I would expect an HL4 in the near future.
They say it's fair to say that you guys have been known or more successful for your fairways and drivers rather than irons. Is this something that you'll be working on in the future?
Yeah, we're trying. I think the next step is obviously irons, and David Glad makes amazing irons.
The CBX Forged are fantastic irons. If people who are following this haven't read the review we did on the homepage, I believe it was James that did that review, you're missing out. They're really, really good irons.
And now it's the CBX Forge just kind of moved on to the EXS iron, and the EXS iron is going to give you crazy distance to where we took every one of our reps, put them on a TrackMan when we first launched this iron, and the average gain from 7-iron to their old 7-iron was 12 yards. So David Glad, he really has become one of the preeminent Master Club designers in the game. He's been at it for 33 years. He's seen it all. He's had his lumps. He's gone through ups and downs, and ever since Exotics, he just learned so much about club design and he's applied it across the board. That when he sat down and said, "All right, I've got to make these irons," he's got such a keen eye to our blades are just gorgeous. The CBX blades are gorgeous, and the CBX Forge, as Josh has said, is just an unbelievable iron. That he's really not getting his due credit as an iron designer, and so we're trying to change that. We don't have enough marketing dollars to go out and change the world overnight like that and throw a bunch of hype behind it, but we are shifting that way. Bob and the marketing team and I just created an television ad for Golf Channel that'll start going live next week. That is basically it's entirely on the EXS iron. So we're basically making this claim that we're the longest irons in golf and that you need to check this iron out. So about most of the ads you're going to start seeing on Golf Channel from us are going to be focused on irons. So we're starting to see that change in mindset. Obviously, fairway woods, hybrids, ironwoods is kind of our forte. For the first time, the EXS driver is doing numbers where we're doing volume where we can consider that, big boy numbers. So the next step is to get the irons, and the next step after that would be to do the players.
Oh, here it is. Two people have asked this now. When will the new CBX 119 bags be available? Or will they be available?
They are available.
They're available now? They're on the website now?
Yeah, and they're great looking bags.
I was just looking for one. Is there one right out here? I'll go get it, Bob.
Yeah, it's right here.
Grab a couple 119s as well. I don't think we have any in here just to show.
That's the one?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the better value approach on the EXS
For
drive-
those following, Morgan just did finger quotes in the
air
air.
quotes?
Air
yes,
quotes,
I did.
yes.
I'm reading it as I see it. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what it said. So is the better value approach on the EXS driver and the HL3 custom fit irons working? Will the strategy continue for the foreseeable future?
Is this
100% working.
Yes, it is definitely in the screen.
You want me to put it in front of you, John?
That was the staff bag, but
Yeah.
yeah. No, the new 119 bags are hot. I think we've got a picture of them both up on our Instagram page right now. They just posted. But yeah, no, the value proposition absolutely worked. I'll just kind of tell this story. When David Glod designed that driver, he did not design it to be a $300 driver. We have a genuine tensile shaft in there. That's a $120 shaft at retail value right there. We have adjustable weights. We have adjustable hosel. We have roll face technology. We have slipstream sole. There's a ton of tech in there.
Somebody asked about that also earlier. What made you decide on that shaft? So when you
Testing, just mad testing.
Okay.
So that's a lot of bang for your buck. We had to go back and say, hey, Dave, we know you think this is a $500 driver. Our research shows we have to sell it at $299. And he's going, what? So
I can honestly say we were here for one of those discussions.
Yeah.
He was not thinking it was a $299 driver off the bat. He designed it to be a $500 driver. What we did is we have John Craig in here as our executive VP. Did about a year's worth of research and found this what I was talking about, this latent demand that exists with these core golfers. These are what we call discerning golfers on a budget. They represent probably around 3 million golfers out of the 8 million core golfers. And they care about shapes. They follow the PGA Tour. They want their club to have innovation. They want all the latest tech gadgets, but they're not going to spend $500 on a driver. So they're the younger set that maybe doesn't have that paycheck yet. They're the older set that's saving money. But it's a good percentage of this latent demand that has been building and building ever since the price shift. So this is the guy that walks into the golf shop, walks around your Epic Flash display and goes, oh, that looks nice. I guess I'll wait for that to go out on closeout. Or I guess I'll wait for them to come out with a new one and that go on closeout. These are closeout guys. Well, now they don't have to be closeout guys. They can go out and get a brand new state-of-the-art driver in EXS for $300 and get a $500 driver in the process.
I have 2 questions I'm going to go here. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, 2 of which are rapid fire.
Sure.
Who has the best pizza in Chicago?
Well, I'm new here.
Right.
But Charlie Fox's out here is my favorite. And it's not, I love deep dish. I do, but I can eat one slice and I'm rolling on the floor. So they have Chicago, but a lot of people don't realize the square pizza was also invented in Chicago. And Charlie Fox's, the St. Charles location, is the best pizza that I've had while I've lived here.
This segment brought to you by Charlie Fox.
Where can they get that cup?
Well, you have to get this cup only if you're drinking Exotic Spring coffee, which is very special.
Which is
thing.
also
If you had
Folgers.
logged in
This
earlier,
segment brought to you by-
But no, this was a Christmas gift, and it's actually got Claff on here.
Weird. It was from the last guy.
So this is a Christmas gift from Gordon Glad. So I'd have to ask him.
The other one was where did it go? I just had another. Hang on, guys. The questions are coming fast. Oh, okay, here we go. This is a really good question because we've talked about this before. At the $299 price point, if somebody walks into a store, do you fear you are competing against last year's model that's been marked down, or are you guys doing a good enough job to explain that this is a brand new product?
just got, just kind of went through that closeout situation. So it's a perfect segue. Don't fear it at all. Welcome it. We welcome that. Basically, the hard part was explaining to the buyer that, we're not taking away sales from, those guys that are, waiting in line on the day that, the M5 and M6 came out, or the Epic Flash. Those guys are going to buy that driver. Okay, they're going to have to go out and try it, and a lot of these guys on the West Coast, they've got the Roger Dunn 30-day return policy. So I think they go buy just about everything and return it in the end until they find the right fit. But where we're winning the battle is in these shops that really focus on, hey, let's go try these out in the simulator. Let's go look at this on TrackMan. So we're kind of like hey, if you liked Epic Flash, why don't you take a look at this EXS driver, save $300, and get the same exact numbers or even better. So that's where we're winning a ton of battles, where we are taking away sales from Callaway and TaylorMade. But on its head, without trying it, a guy going in looking for Callaway and TaylorMade isn't going to be persuaded into our driver. That's where our research has really proven to be true, that there are millions and millions of golfers that had a latent demand built up because they just don't want to spend that much money. They want innovation. They're probably going to buy a lot of closeouts, but now they don't have to buy those closeouts.
Okay. The CBX Ironwoods were originally offered in 2 through 5 irons, and then eventually as a full set. This is a two-part question. What went into the decision to create a full set of clubs in this line? And with the hollowed body construction combined with minimal spin, what is the typical handicap range for this?
Sure.
I was here when that decision was made too.
It's a great question. And it basically came about by everybody looking at, it was a 2 through 5, and they were going, man, these look great. Can't you keep going? Can't you make a full set out of these? And the answer, David Glad, resounded, yes, I can.
And the black ones look awesome.
And they're so beautiful.
They're really. Do you remember the video where he says juicy?
I think that this story's still being told. I think that he's ahead of his time with these hollow body irons being a full set. They're amazing. They're amazing looking. They're amazing performance. We know that because Tim Petrovic uses a number 2 ironwood. It's his favorite club in the bag. He says it's probably never coming out. He kind of foresees himself playing this club for the next 10 years. He uses it off the tee, and he's hitting 265 off the tee with this thing.
Or I want to punch him.
Or he can hit it 240 off the deck. He says he hits it out of sand. Tom Lehman is now playing the number 3 ironwood, and it's giving us the same feedback. He's like, man, this club can do it all. So it's a very versatile club. It's very low spinning as well. So if it's windy, a whole set of these clubs are going to be perfect for your game. But I believe that we're still just on the tip of the iceberg on what we can do with a full set of hollow body clubs like this. David Glad, I think, is probably 5 years ahead of his time on this one, and he's done that before. He was one of the first hybrid makers in the business, and invented the term ironwood, and has that trademarked. So I believe we're right on that cusp of kind of revolutionary technology that he's come up with, and I would say he's a few years ahead of its time. But it's a great set. It's the fact that he was able to pull it off. Basically these are driving irons. He's made a whole set of driving irons as your set of irons, which is pretty crazy. So all the way up to pitching wedge. So if you get a chance to check these out in person, you need to, because they're beautiful and they work.
Next question. Are there any plans to add a driver to the CBX line? The CBX fairways look to be really successful, and with the EXS driver sitting at such a modest price point, it looks like there's room for a CBX driver, even at a price point more in line with your competitors.
Yep. Yeah, there is room for it. We're actively trying to do that. We have attempted it already, and we just won't do it until it's going to perform to the standards that we want it to perform at. So we really believe that the fairway wood and the hybrid are the best in the business. And we've improved from CBX to CBX 119, and so there's discernible performance benefits there. But for us to do the driver, it's going to have to be something very, very special to put a CBX tag on it.
I have a question for you. Why do you guys call it 119 and not 119?
Because it sounds better.
Well, and if it's technically a date, that would make more sense.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, it was based on, in case you missed it, the 119 comes from the fact that, let me tell this story. It hasn't been asked. I know you alluded to it being asked earlier. you know, what is the difference between CBX and CBX 119? First of all, 119 stands for January of 19. That's when we released it. We really view 119 as an evolution of CBX. So it wasn't, you know, yes, it's replacing the club, but as you can see, the cosmetics are quite similar. We added the red, white, and blue to kind of as a nod to the fact that we make and build all of our clubs here in the United States, here in Batavia, Illinois. But the real difference is that we talked to the pros. We said, how can we make this club better? And the pros that we worked with on the Champions Tour said, I want a shorter heel to toe. I want a deeper face. I want a more compact head. And we did all that. And at the same time, we were able to make it with a hotter face, more forgiving face. We raised the MOI by taking the silver wings on the bottom, the Speed Ramp sole, and widening them. That actually helped us bring about, you know, a 15% raise in the MOI. So we have made this a better club, but we view it as an evolution. It's kind of like all the wins we got with CBX are the same wins. You know, the clubs are that similar that, you know, I can basically say CBX has 9 wins now that Lehman opened up the season with a win in Hawaii. You know, it's an extension to us. It's not like a start over. So if that makes sense, that's how we view it. We view it as an evolution. If there's another, you know, we found another way to make 119 better, and you know, in the year 2020, then we would come out with a 2020 version that, and we'll tell you how we made it better. But if we didn't find a way to make it better, then we would just keep going with CBX 119. We would extend that life cycle. So that's kind of how we view things. If we find a way to make it better, we're not just making clubs to make clubs to hit dates. We're making sure that
Oh, you just blew minds everywhere.
we're making clubs to make sure that they're better. That's the reason we're coming out with it. That kind of makes sense to us as golf club makers.
This is a pure marketing question, and I'm going to paraphrase this. So basically, this person says that they love the looks of the clubs, they love the reviews that they read on the clubs, but
And when they go test them, they like them.
right, well, actually, he says that he doesn't even get to that point, and
Okay.
that's sort of the question, is that he sees all of that, but for some reason, he still has a, not necessarily negative, but he has a perception of the brand in his head, and so he never actually goes out and tests them, and he wants to know, what can you guys do within marketing to kind of change that thought process in his head?
We just got to move him to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
No,
You have no visitor parking right now because there's a bunch of snow in front of it.
No, but that's the battle we're fighting as a brand, right? And the reason why I bring up moving to Chicago is because in the Midwest, we don't have that problem. People are aware of tours. They have a very high brand value in their head of who Tour Edge is, and especially exotics. So, you know, that we're kind of a Midwest brand who's gone global. And so there's little pockets out there of golfers who may not have had that same experience and that same news feed of what we've been up to for the last 30 years. But that's a big reason why we have to go out there and do the Champions Tour and do that tour validation and do all the things that we're doing now with advertising on the Golf Channel, because we basically lived off of reputation for 30 years without doing any advertising. And you know, I've come on board and working with Bob to kind of convince everybody around here, you guys spend a little bit of money to make a little bit of money. And so now we're going through that process with individual golfers like, what was his name?
Oh, I passed the question, sorry.
RevSkev.
So
Red
now,
Skev.
Red Skev.
So now RevSkev, I've got to get in front of RevSkev as an individual with my marketing and really make the proposition of who we are, why we're doing things the way we're doing, and that's where the story of materials over marketing comes in, and that's where the value proposition comes in, and really all that leads up to me is trying to get RevSkev to go into a location where they have us and they have the ability to try the clubs, because that's the battle right there. So I want RevSkev to go compare whatever he's playing right now, put his 3-wood up against our 3-wood, and see the difference, and that's how I finally win that marketing battle. He's going to have to try it. It's my job to get him to go try it. And what happens from there on, we're confident we'll win that battle.
Okay. Next question. Why don't you guys categorize your irons according to like SGI, GI players, etc.?
As far as categorize where?
Like throughout your website and your marketing, they're just irons.
Right.
Right. Well, they get categorized. Golf Digest will do that for us. And
Which is what he kind of said. He sees the Golf Digest does it, but why don't?
yeah, it's kind of been a company philosophy that we don't like to tell people who this club's for because it could be for anybody. We don't want to scare anybody away who said, well, I'm in this particular category over this one, and whereas they do end up falling into that category, it's kind of been a no-no around here to say this is for your better player or this is for your high handicapper, because and I think the thinking is that a lot of times there's crossover, and we don't want to turn somebody off who could be going that direction and then have us say stop, not for you.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where that's born from.
Okay. Another question is, do you think that there's, and I'm sorry if this was asked and I missed it, do you think that there's a club segment you feel is neglected and prime for innovation?
Absolutely, and I think that's what Tour Edge is all about, is finding that and then servicing them. And so we recently did that with our junior sets, and we're we're constantly looking for that. That's where HL3 was born out of. So it's a big way that how we make our money here is to because we were really proud of the fact that we service every golfer. We have our bazooka sets for beginning golfers or golfers that haven't been in the game in a while that just don't want to spend a lot of money, but they want an extreme value. Then we have our mid-tier, the Hot Launch 3, and that's for your weekend warriors who want the best possible performance that they can get for not a lot of money. And then we go all the way up to your tour players. So we really feel like if you look at any other company, that we service more golfers than anybody else with the range that we offer. So we're always looking for that segment of who's being neglected, and we want to service them for sure.
Just so you guys know, we're going to run for about 5 to 10 more minutes. Then we got to let John get back to work. But keep going.
Well, I thought we were doing this all day.
Again, I'm sorry.
Just for you guys know also, John was out sick yesterday.
Yes.
He's here just for this because he's still not feeling great.
If I'm repeating questions, just
That's okay.
stop me. This person wants to know, within Tour Edge, have there been any talks about adding the ability to adjust loft and lie on fairway and hybrids? If so, when? If not, why?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. I think at the end of the day, we found that there's not that much need for it. And if that's not the case, then we want to hear from THPers saying that's not the case. We want to adjust our fairway woods and hybrids.
We can start a thread on that, and we can ask people.
Yeah, I'd love to know. It's our understanding that it's not that there's not too much demand for that, because once you get it and you get the right setting, you never change it. So why not move up from loft to naturally in that way? But yeah, if that's not the case, we'd love to hear it.
Does Tour Edge have any thoughts on adding a trade-in program or an upgrade program, so to speak, as new equipment is released?
Well, we do a lot of pre-owned stuff, and there is actually some a rewards program we have with people who purchase from us as well, a loyalty program. The trade-in, I believe that they've dabbled in, but no current plans to expand on that or anything. But we're very we're with our lifetime warranty. It's kind of what's the need? If something bad happens to your club, it's covered for life. We have what we call the museum back here, where we keep a little bit of everything we've ever made for the last 30 years, or as long as we've had the lifetime warranty, which I believe is about 20 years.
Have you guys ever had that 20-year-old club come back?
Oh, sure. All the
Yeah.
time. And we replace it. We're golf club's only lifetime warranty, and we take it very seriously. All the bags, we have to keep a little bit of everything we've ever made in case that customer comes back with a defect.
No.
Was that asked already?
Already asked.
That's what I thought. We already asked that question.
Yeah. You guys are asking great questions.
Yeah.
For sure.
Will Tour Edge consider making a non-conforming club in the future?
I don't think so, unless there's a change in acceptance of those clubs. I did that in the golf ball business with a non-conforming ball, and there's just a couple old guys in Florida that want that.
Did you just call me old?
And I think it's just that grip that the USGA has on things for whatever reason. I personally, I could care less what they think about what I'm doing out on the golf course,
Right.
and they could care less about what I'm doing out on the golf course. So I don't understand why it isn't a bigger deal, but we kind of stick to that that conformity. So no.
You chose the tagline "Golf's most solid investment." Why do you believe the value proposition is what will set you apart from the competitors?
Because everyone else fell asleep at the wheel and forgot that that's a big deal. And it's been our tagline for over 25 years. I think it'll be our tagline for another 25 years. It really is the best way of describing what we do here in 5 words. So yeah, we are golf's most solid investment because that's how we view golf should be. And we don't add hype charges to our clubs. We don't take, we went out and we're spending a ton of money, not a ton compared to Callaway or TaylorMade, but we're spent to us a ton of money to get this tour program rolling. And yes, it's led to 8 wins and a bunch of press releases, but it's still money at the end of the day. That's taking away from our profit margin. But we don't add that back into the golf club. Whereas everybody else is going out and signing tour players and multi-million-dollar budgets, they are adding that into the golf club. That's why you're paying $600 for a driver. How much do you really think it makes to manufacture that $600 driver? How much hype charge is being put into golf clubs these days? We are anti-hype charge. So that's why we're golf's most solid investment.
With the golfing community and equipment always evolving, how do you continue to keep up with the evolution, and what do you think, or what do you see as the most important aspects for 2019 and possibly going forward?
Sure. David Glod is the best person to ask on that, but I've heard his answer recently on, where do you see golf headed in the next 5 years? And, first of all, we know that we'll keep up because of David. He is our leader. He is our boss. He is our club designer. He is everything. He is the brand here. So first of all, that's something we probably need to fix and get a team of other guys understudying David for the future. But he sees carbon being huge moving forward.
That was actually the next question.
Carbon. He sees entire drivers being made out of carbon. So that's kind of his vision in there. So maybe we are going to be talking about speed for the next 10 years, but hopefully not.
Okay, I got 2 questions here. The first is, and we've had this one a lot, where can people, or when can people start buying the quarter zips like you guys are wearing?
Oh, I don't know. We currently don't sell them, but if there is demand for it, we'll make them available.
There's at least 7 or 8 guys who have asked that already today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So we just got to make a package deal with the Exotic Brand Coffee.
Exactly. And the second question is, you gave the longer response on how the tagline and everything else. Is that how you want consumers to view the company? That it's a best value wow, maybe I need more coffee.
I think you need more coffee now
Best
too, yeah.
value available for quality.
For Tour Edge, yeah, but that's also why we have exotics a little bit separated. And we, as long as you know that we've got a tour preferred, tour winning line in exotics, that we're still offering value. You're going to be paying $300 for a fairway wood, but it's a titanium face fairway wood.
There's not a lot of that out there.
If another major made that titanium face fairway wood, how much would they charge for it? So
well, I think we know.
There's still value in exotics, but we're high-end exotics. So can we offer value at a low end, a mid-tier, and at a high end? Yes, we can. That's what we're doing. So to say, I'm not afraid to say I'm offering you ultra premium value. That's pretty much what everybody would want, right?
I think so. I mean, I want ultra premium value.
Yeah.
There's been a number of questions about the standard shaft choice for the driver. Is it the only choice available, the Tensei?
Oh no, we've got other options. They're all the top shafts, and we, right now in the CBX 119 fairway wood and hybrid, you can go even flow. It comes standard with even flow blue, but you can go to the white or the red at no cost, or you can go to hazardous at no cost.
We will make sure we get the list of the driver shafts available too, and we'll post those on the forum in this thread. Now it's time to announce 2 winners.
Yeah.
They are each getting an EXS driver.
Isn't that cool?
So the first one is, I guess I'll just announce them rather than having to pass the name.
How do you tell them how you pick them?
Randomly. If your question, your question had to have been asked.
Okay.
And then that question was assigned a number.
Okay, so you're doing a random number generator.
The first person is Tyler Pluff.
Tyler.
And the second one, oh God, I just forgot his name. Oh, here it is. a mortal concept.
Okay.
So you two, please send a private message to Golfer Gal
Yep.
with your full name, shipping address, your dexterity. Please be right-handed, and your shaft flex, and we will get drivers out to you. Do they need any other information?
9.5 or 10.5?
9.5 or 10.5.
Loft of choice
and shaft flex.
and shaft flex, and we will get these out to
And
you.
if they are lefty, then we'll move them into the 3-wood, the EXS 3-wood.
Perfect. So congrats, guys, and stay tuned to the THP Foreman homepage over the next day to 7 days, because we have a couple of really big things coming that you guys are not going to want to miss.
Nice. You'll have to tell me what you're talking about.
If we do that, you're going to say no. But we have some things that you guys are not going to want to miss. I'm being serious. There's a couple of surprises that we've kind of teased, but we haven't said what the details are yet. One is the team Tour Edge, and the other one is Tee It Up with Tour Edge, and we will be unloading what those are. Maybe not the best way to say that, but we will have announcing what they all are. If you enjoyed this,
We're
don't
gonna
forget.
get you some Torridge
Please.
Exotics coffee here in a
I
second.
need some Exotics coffee. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we thank you guys. And afterwards, if you enjoyed this, leave a comment for John or Bob, who you can't see, but he's here. And let them know what you guys think. And we will be back next time with another live stream from them.